everybody, how you doing? This is Frank with Frankly Horse Racing, and I got a few minutes, so I'm going to do a little bit longer by the numbers. Had a few more requests that we do a little longer version. I apologize, I was kind of busy. There's been a lot of treatment, and like I said before, a death in the family, so it's been a little bit tough trying to get everything together, but that's no excuse. Sometimes you just got to battle on. So I'm going to take a few more minutes, do a little bit longer. Belmont Stakes 25 by the numbers. So let's get into this and take a look at it. Shouldn't be too long as the field isn't very big, and I think that it really gets sorted out pretty quickly. So I hope that everybody's having a great day out there. Let's look at the field here. We'll start off with the DRF old school racing form. I say that now, but they've got a lot more things than they used to have. And then we'll flip to the Timeform, and then I'll do the tally sheet at the end to do a quick comparison. So number one is Hill Road, ridden by Irad Ortiz. You always got to keep an eye on there. This is more of about the numbers instead of a pure handicapping, but we're looking for patterns and who's actually turned numbers that we think they will make them competitive and actually could win this race. So Hill Road, as I said on the other video that I did, I feel bad for him because he never gets a pure pace, but you never know what might happen this Saturday. But if we look at his DRF number, his top buyers right now is a 94. His top, my dad's old school algorithm from the 70s, which still does pretty good. He's got an 83, so let's see how that compares with the rest. And he's going to have to run into a pace that we don't even know where it's at. Could be slow, could be tepid. We'll find out soon. Number two is Sovereignty. Sovereignty has a very good pattern when it comes to buyers. As you can see, he goes from upper 80s into the 90s. Again, I think the Florida Derby could have been a higher number. I think they ran him, but they didn't ride him like they had to win the race. And it was a little bit different rider with Manny on there, Franco, opposed to Alvarado. And that does make a difference, especially at this level. But they came back smoking on the Derby. Hoo-hoo for all of us that were able to get 7-1. But a beautiful 105. So he's clearly on the improve on the buyer level. He's been running at grade ones, and he did turn a 199 earlier this year of my dad's numbers. So the Biz Speed Ratings, as we call them, that's a top number, and I'm looking for anybody with a top there, and is it comparable? So Sovereignty looks pretty good, and he's on a good pattern. He's on an upward trend. That was a pretty good jump in number, so we see how he comes back. And I think he's quality horse that if he even steps back a little bit, I really don't believe it's going to be a major step back. Number three is Rodriguez. Rodriguez will be written by Mike Smith, and he will definitely be either on the lead, or he's going to be stalking and tracking Crudo pretty closely. So let's see what his buyers and Biz Speed Ratings look like. Now, the buyers, he's run 2 101s, but as you can see, he's been as low as 79. He's been up to the 101. He had 100 here at a mile at Santa Anita, which tends to turn, higher numbers. A lot of tracks do that. You'll see a higher mile number at Gulfstream, a higher mile number at Churchill. It just what I've noticed over the years, or what I consider a skew. So I always take that with a little grain of salt and bring it back a little. But I love his running style for this race. And if they don't get after Smith, if he does get the lead, although I still think Crudo is going to push pretty hard. But he's going to be in great position either way. And by my dad's algorithms, now that 199 in the wood, I said this in other videos, I still think in my heart, my gut, and how many times I've done these numbers at Aqueduct, I think it's a little skewed high. I don't think he's a 199. I'd probably put him in the lower 190s for that run, but that still puts him in the ballpark with Sovereignty. Uncaged is next, and it doesn't matter the number I look at. He's too slow. He's got a good jockey. He's got a good trainer. He's got good owners. but I think he's well over his head in this one. Number-wise, same thing with Crudo. Crudo looked fantastic at Pimlico, and I'm glad he did because I liked him over the hard chalk. And he, as we can see the pattern there, he's improving every single race. But they're still too low for me. It's such a big jump. He's also moving way up in class, and I think running against the big boys is going to be a big wake-up call for him. Hey, he could prove me wrong, right? But at this point, by the numbers is what we're looking at. He's too slow on the BizSpeed rating algorithm. He's too slow for me on the buyer's numbers, and we'll see where he's at now. I still think he's going to be a pretty good horse, and I love his pattern. Let's move on to number 6, Baeza. Baeza, I'm sure everybody by now has reviewed his run in the Derby, and I've said it a few times. I hate the drone look in a big field switching back and forth. For my old eyes, I had to try to find him, but what a fantastic run. Same thing with the Santa Anita Derby. Go take a real good look at that race. And he had trouble in the first turn, then he had to rush up, and he put Citizen Bull finally into the ground, and then Journalism, who just loves to run things down, beats him. So I think number-wise, as you can see, Baeza has run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races, and he's improved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races in a row. So if we're looking by the numbers and we're looking patterns, he looks fantastic. He tops out in the BizSpeed rating about a 192, so close to Sovereignty. Not quite there yet, but close enough that he's in range. But we'll see what his Timeform number is. But wow, what a pattern! What a pattern! And he's had some time off. And what we're looking for in by the numbers is where they're at and patterns. And I'm liking this pattern a lot. But I think he's kind of the hot horse. A lot of people are trying to jump on him. Now, Journalism number 7. There's nothing bad about any pattern that he has. He took a step back in buyers last time. I think part of that's field strength because they take that into account on the buyers system. And he was stifled for quite a bit. But if you look at the algorithm of the BizSpeed, my dad's stuff, he's improved every single race there. He consistently has the top numbers on the buyer side. So to me, by the numbers, not is he tired or will he bounce or is it too many races this short of a period, but by the numbers, he's a monster and he's definitely the one to beat. And then the last race is Heart of Honor. It's a great story with the Osbornes. Horse didn't really get out very good. I think he's going to need a lot of pace and a big turnaround. He got pulled around on just the number he has there just because of the race he was in with Journalism, but I think that it's too big of a leap like a couple of those others to even be there by the numbers and competing. So let's switch over to the Timeform real quick and take a look at this. So let's make this a little bigger, and we're going to go to Saratoga. Am I on the right day here? I am not. So let's bring this over and give me a little bit of music here. Saratoga. Let's go Saturday. Hey, I'm human. I'm getting older. And They done a lot of chemo. So it all adds up to crazy, right? All right, here we go. We're in the 13th race on Saturday. They start. So let's get to the pace ratings as we always do. This is a picture of the pace as you can see this. Now let's go to the numbers. That's where it really matters to me, and it looks like Crudo actually has a pretty decent front end clip over Rodriguez, but I think that's a little skewed because I think Pimlico tends to go a little bit faster on some of these things, but class-wise is where I think he's going to be in trouble. And as you can see, we have a heck of a lot of closers. So Rodriguez and Crudo, if they get out there and just cruise easily and don't beat the hell out of each other, they might be very tough to catch, or one or two of them. And I think that's the scenario that Rodriguez wins. And Crudo, again, if he wins, I'm in trouble. But again, I like the horse. I think he's going to get real good. So let's take the quick Timeform numbers here a look. Hill Road, he's topped out at a 113. His pattern is increasing. So I love that. He's run into slow paces pretty much every single time. When he gets a fast pace, I want to see what's going on and how well he does. You got Brown, you got Irad. I really see a great improvement of this horse. I can see anywhere between second and fourth depending on how much he improves and if he learns to change leads for sure. Let's look at the next one here. Let's go to Sovereignty and see what his pattern is. Hill Road's top was a 112. Sovereignty's top is a 118. He's gone 112, 113, 118 in succession. So to me, is that a good pattern? Yeah, that's a really good pattern. Hang on a second. Sorry about that. I had a little flicker down there, and I wanted to make sure that my microphone was still working. So pattern-wise, by the numbers-wise, wow, great pattern. It's a really good pattern, and he had good numbers last year. He's run at Saratoga. He's got a good pattern. Sovereignty is a player. Mott Alvarado, it's a player. Okay, we've got Rodriguez now. Rodriguez again, let's look at his numbers. He's been a little all over the board. He had a 96, a 114, a couple 109s padded, and then he shoots the 119 at Aqueduct, and we really haven't produced much out of that race, and I loved him that day. He was heads and tails number-wise better than the field, and he was able to control the race on the front. So by the numbers, he's got two numbers that makes him competitive, but he's still going to have to improve to win, to me. But you darn well know, especially looking at right here, these workouts, Rodriguez is coming ready. He's coming ready, and if they let him walk the dog, I'd be worried. Uncaged, number 4, like I said before. Same thing with Timeform. His pattern is good. He's improving, but he's just got too much work to do to climb the hill to get better. Sorry, sometimes with this Apple mouse, there we go. You slide an Apple mouse wrong sometimes, and that sucker jumps all over. All right, Crudo. Crudo's number 5. His pattern's looking like a good one. It's improving each race. He's all the way up to a 112 off his last race at Pimlico, but he's going to have to jump about 10 points to beat some of these others. So to me, 8 to 10. So to me, I see improvement on Crudo. I don't see enough to win, but a good-looking young horse that got started later. Here we go with Baeza. Baeza in the Derby got a 116, and that was with all the traffic, getting all through things, being stopped a few times before that. In the Santa Anita Derby, he had a 119, so pretty close to journalism. So he took that little step back technically, number-wise, in the Derby, but I think that skewed. You have so many horses, and so many different things can happen, and it did happen to him. So to me, that's an improvement. And he's improved. If you look at every single race, his number, even starting on the turf, has improved every single race. That is a pattern we're looking for. So that between him and Sovereignty, whoo, those patterns are great. Now let's move on to journalism. Journalism, number 7. Everything looks good on him on the other form that we looked at. On my dad's BizSpeed ratings, if we look here, he's got the top Timeform numbers. He gets a 121 topped out last time, being stopped, but as you can see, those final fractions were pretty darn sporty. In the Derby, he did run out of a little bit of gas, had trouble early, but him going backwards went to a 117, which is still higher than most of the field. He had another 121 earlier this year. So to me, unless he's tired, by the numbers, well, not even tired, if his jockey gets him in a heck of a lot of trouble again, man, I don't. There's too much money in the game. It just surprised me. But anyway, by the numbers, he looks pretty good. So let's bring up the final sheet and take a quick look, and then we'll end this baby off here. All right, here we go. By the numbers, the 2025 Belmont. Again, I will leave this up. You can take a look at it. I've got the front fractions. It looks like, of course, Rodriguez and Crudo have a pretty good advantage on these closers. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 closers with over 100 in the Timeform closing side. So they're definitely going to be coming and humming along. Pay attention to the track early, but it really all comes down to me is Crudo, not even Rodriguez. Are they going to send him out like a rabbit and try to steal the race, or are they going to let Rodriguez take the race? If they go out fast, they're going to be flying at the end. I gave my selections before, so this is a by the numbers. By the numbers, you still got to beat journalism, and then you've got an unbelievably improving Baeza and Sovereignty. So to me, it's one of those three, unless we get a pace up front. That's going to be tough to close into at Saratoga with Rodriguez or Crudo on the front. And I personally think out of those two, I think Rodriguez holds on longer because he has more seasoning. But that's how I see it by the numbers. We've got a top buyer number with, let's see, well, I guess on the recent ones, Sovereignty, with Journalism having one earlier this year. These numbers here are more recent numbers. Timeform, the Rodriguez one, I'm mastering is it's Aqueduct. I don't believe that's as high in numbers, but we still got Journalism at a 121, Sovereignty at a 118, and then Baeza at a 119. So they're all looking pretty darn sporty right there. So that's how I see it by the numbers. I hope that you have a great Belmont Saturday. They've got some fantastic racing. Hopefully we hold off weather-wise. It seems like we do that every time into the Triple Crown. But again, I appreciate everything. I appreciate you taking time and watching these videos. I know they can get kind of long, and there's a lot of others online that do, frankly, the same thing. And I hope I make, well, frankly, I'm not trying to be funny. Hopefully I make a difference and help it out for you. Send me the comments. Any comments you may have, I'm happy to answer them. Please like and subscribe. And again, I appreciate everything. Take care. This is Frank with Frankly Horse Racing. We'll talk to you soon.